Float the head back and let the crown of the head rise. Soften the knees. Settle the hips. Bending a little forward from the hips. On the weight even on the feet. Spread out. Let me grasp the floor. Activating the arches. Back, round slightly. Sink the shoulders. As we feel the back, lightly closing the chest. Breath sink. Feel the abdomen. Slight lift at the tip of the tailbone. The tongue at the roof of the mouth. Weight gently forward and backward on the feet. Pressing and grasping the floor. Relax the low back area. Hips. Allow a very subtle movement in that area as we rock back and forth while the tailbone continues to drop under the body. Lengthen the low back. In that posture, allow very subtle movement. Pause in the middle and shift side to side. Circle. Reverse. Look up, open front. Down, open back. Crown rising, weight sinking. Stabilize the lower body. Side. Keep the shoulders and hips. Let one side open up. And the shorter side consolidating. Exchange between them. Circle. Pause and reverse. Head down to the neck. Onto the hips and ankles. Shift away and toe out. Flex the ankle, wrists. Heel, toe in and toe out. And the ankle. A little movement of the knee or the elbow. Turn in and out. Again. Much movement of the knee. Now if I put the foot on the ball, circle the ankle, I'll get a nice big circle of the knee. Start to open up the hip. Hands as well. Reverse. Change sides. We work from the ankle. Feel how it reaches up through the calf and shin. Even without moving the knee or the hip, you can feel that gentle pull reaching up through the leg. Same as we toe in and toe out. Sole in and sole out. Try to keep the hips very loose. It's the same posture. Circle. Reverse. Hands either on the hips or low back, or tuck and untuck. Up on hip, the other rise. Open one side of the waist and gather the other. And exchange through the deeper abdomen. Circle. Reverse. Legs. Shrug the shoulders forward and back. Make one, let the other rise. Circle the shoulders. Reverse. Rest of the body stays still but relaxed. Gently stabilize the body without significant tension. Raise the arms up and sink the shoulders. Shoulder blades sink down into the back. cross and open. Same idea. Sink the shoulders as the arms come up. One arm. Reverse. So there's one arm. On the other hand, I'm going to get up so both elbows are bent. And try to imagine that as I push one hand down, it pushes the other up. Try to feel a connection through the back. Both elbows push down to lift up. Both shoulders still sinking. In fact, keeping the knees soft, sinking the hips as well. Take a little wider steps down into the hips. Shift weight 70%. Really relaxing to the lighter leg, keeping that 30% that's left evenly distributed on the floor, well rooted. Maintaining that arch of the legs through the hips. Dropping the tailbone under, lengthening the low back, and the tip of the tailbone lift. And turn. Shifting and turning. Reverse the turn. One side, turn the other way. So maintaining that arch. Stability of the 2 feet. Let's place one hand over the other like we're holding a ball. Shift the weight and turn. The hands over. You can see that the upper hand, those fingers are pointing away. Shift it about as far and turn about as far as is comfortable without forcing it all. But as we let the hands turn over, see if we can't find a little more turning without collapsing that back leg. When the hands turn over, the hand that's lifted is the one that's sort of on the outside here. The hand that's reaching across the body is underneath. So if my hand, this hand's on top. Again, it's the side I'm turning toward. That's the hand that's on top. And I squeeze that ball down a little bit as I'm turning. And again, turn out. Side I'm turning toward, that's the arm that's on top. Squeeze that ball down a little bit. Now, as I get to the center and I've squeezed the ball down a little bit, that lower hand can start to rise. Now all I have to do is turn the hand slightly and I'm holding the ball again. Squeeze it down as I come to the middle. Passing the middle, that lower hand's going to rise up, facing the body like I'm hugging the ball to me. The other hand just continues to press down just with its own weight. And it ends up that arm extended a little bit like that leg is extended. We'll bend at the elbow and the knee. Catch the ball, squeeze it down, and then let the hands separate. And the feeling I'm looking for, again, is that the hand that's sinking down somehow provides the lift to the other hand. This is a movement very much like wild horse parts its mane that we've looked at. In the long form, the traditional form, this movement actually comes first. So wild horse parts its mane is bigger, which is most likely why they put it at the beginning of the simplified form, make it a little bigger stretch, make it feel a little bit more obviously like exercise, make it a little easier to focus on. When I do wild horse parts its mane, that same squeezing down, the same feeling like the hand that's dropping lifts the other hand. It's just now here's a nice big separation. The arms are a little straighter. Again, if I bring this hand back, it covers half my face. Fingertips are about eyebrow height. I have to turn out a little bit more and gather in, catch that ball again, squeeze it down. Again, it's that upper hand as it sinks down, it somehow lifts the other hand. So you can see the placement of that backhand is very similar to the back foot. Back arm and leg are similar. So I release down through that arm, I release down through that leg together. So when I started with this exercise a few weeks ago, we talked about how pressing at one side down gives me a little feeling of condensing, consolidating the ribs on this side, maybe even down on the waist. And on the other side, we're going to feel just a light opening. So we can feel this exchange not just in the arms or somehow connected through the upper back and the shoulder blades, but it works its way down into this complementary action in the body. There's nothing I can do to make that happen other than really just be careful about my posture, try to follow the basic principles we've been talking about. Basic posture helps connect the left and right side and the upper and lower body. So in wild horse parts its mane, I still have a little bit of that. It's not as big a lift overhead, but I can feel I'm sort of opening one side up a little bit, and on the other side, there's this gentle consolidation. I don't have to pay a lot of attention to that. I don't even have to notice it all the time, but at least sometimes I want to give a little attention to that. That it's not just the movement of the arms. So if I'm releasing my weight down through that back arm and that back leg, right, something's happening in between as well. Now bring the hands back, grasp the sparrow's tail. It's the same thing, just a little more subtle. The backhand, virtually identical. This hand's coming up again. The palm faces me as if I was holding that ball, but now I'm holding it to the body. In fact, I can even imagine my body a little like a ball. But the outside of the ball is my back and the outside of that arm. And this whole space belongs to the inside of the ball. So the space inside my body, but also inside the arm here contained. I'm not going to belabor that image right now, but it's going to become increasingly important as we continue on next few weeks. Yeah, we can imagine holding a ball, but we can also sort of imagine that we're the ball. So let's put this into walking. We'll review that wild horse parts its mane as a walk first, since we've already done that, and then we'll step back into this other exercise. The wild horse parts its mane is a very strong image, right? The horse sort of rushing forward, right? And the wind or its head tossing its mane back and forth. Doesn't mean I have to put a lot more energy into the movement. It means that open, extended position already has a sort of different energy to it. In which case, I just mean the feeling of it, the expression. Well, and again, the side I'm turning towards, that's the hand that's on top. The back hand and the back foot come in together. The wild horse parts its mane. It's not just a straighter arm, but it's a little bit more of a turn in the upper body. So my hips don't square up. The angle of my hips is turned a little forward, but not square perpendicular to that front foot. But I'm looking right out over my knee. So I step up, again, that back-handed leg coming together. I stay squatting down a little bit. I'm looking to the front slightly, seeing where I'm going to go. Which helps us stabilize and make the posture feel active at the same time. The leg swings back and out. That step swings back and out, but my toes are pointed straight. I look a little diagonal. Shorted that last step a little bit so I didn't walk off frame. Turning back, you see I pivot on the heel. Step in, turning the look a little bit. Making sure when I do that, my hip doesn't sway out to the sides. Sink the hips, make that leg nice and stable. Arms open, slowly turning towards one another, gathering in, step out. The same phase where we're compressing the ball and the eyes are a little down. And I look up and forward out to the distance. Step back a little bit so I don't walk off frame. And so that I'm turning toward the camera just to make the transition visible. Not back, full 30%, not more. 70% of the weight on the front leg, 70% on the back leg, 30% on the front. 100% when I step up. Turn back. And I'll step up here. The walking for grass sparrow's tail is essentially the same. But we don't have to change anything. I am going to just demonstrate a slightly different transition to get started from here. Remember, I'm squatting down a little bit. Hands are heavy, that press down feeling. As I turn, the hand I'm turning toward just scoops up a little bit. Now I'm coming into that ball holding position. Back a little bit so my feet are in frame. Again, I look forward a little bit. It's the same preparation. And as I twist, I already start to feel the hands condensing and consolidating the space between them. Step out. It's the same step. Big difference in the lower body is now I'm going to try to square my hips up with my front leg, but I don't want to force it. Depending on how far my toes were turned out, that back foot's going to pivot on the heel. Always the heel is the fixed point. And I'm bringing my hips around as much as I can without force to square up or be perpendicular with that front foot. So there's more of a turn, which fits this hand position, right? If I'm reaching out, it makes sense to have my hips at a little more of an angle because that puts that hand further out, right? As soon as I start to turn a little bit more, you can feel how it's pulling this hand backwards. So that wouldn't go as well with that gesture. But here in this round position, I really work on gently squaring up the hips. Arms open a little bit, go out, shift forward, same walk. Turn a little to the front, swing back and out. Right, squeeze it down gently. Raise the eyes and look to the distance. I'm no longer looking over my knee. Right, the line of my nose is inside my foot, parallel to that front foot. And I'm trying not to get my shoulders ahead of my hips even a little bit. So all the turning here comes from my hips. So below the waist, not from a waist turn, but right at the top of the thigh. From the hip joints, right? When I say hips, I'm usually not talking about the hip bones, I'm talking about the hip joints below the hip bones. Turn back. Eyes a little down. I lift the eyes. I look to the distance. I'm moving straight ahead now, just inside that front foot. Bring that foot back a little bit just so I stay in frame. I end up in the same stance. Toe in. And I let that hand that's sinking down connect to and lift the other hand. So that hand's coming up mid-chest height. Tip of my thumb is about the center of my chest. So anything we truly call Taiji walking is going to involve this kind of counterbalance between the arms. There are many, many variations of it. But walking has to involve the whole body, just like natural walking, right? The arm swing, right? And you see that counterbalance in the arm, right, between each other, right? And then counterbalance with the legs. You see that throughout Taiji. But of course, the overall feeling is quite a bit different. It's a very different relationship with gravity. Let's just shake out the legs a little bit. Let's bring the feet together about a fist distance between my 2 feet and between my knees. And I'm just going to make a little circle with my knees. And you see that distance stays the same. But I try to keep my trunk in the same place so the movement's absorbed in my hips and I can feel a little bit of a circle in my hip. Then however far it's comfortable to squat down. Stand up, press the legs back gently. I'm going to make the circle the other way. It's helpful to always start in the same direction, that way you don't lose track. It's traditional to do counterclockwise first and then clockwise. But the main thing is that you just sort of have a habit, so let's try. And you can do the same thing, but let your hands circle around the kneecap. Sort of relax and warm that whole area. That can be done as preparation for doing the Taiji walking as well. Taiji walking should not make your knees sore. If it does, chances are you don't quite have that basic posture down, especially that dropping of the tailbone, right? Sinking it under, opening up the lower back and loosening that hip area, as well as keeping the weight even on the soles of the feet. These are some more important things. Thank you.